everyone. Welcome back to my channel, Dr. M Inspires. I am Mahesha. I'm an international medical graduate currently working in Australia. So, if this is your first time in my channel, I want to welcome you all. So, I am an IMG who started working in Australia just 2 years back. And I started this channel because I wanted to guide and inspire and motivate fellow IMGs who are also looking for a career here in Australia. And I bring to you real life experiences, and I am trying to share as much as I know so that will be helpful for you guys who are waiting to start your first job here in Australia. So it's that time of the year again. All the recruitment campaigns for the clinical year 2027 are opening. So this is the time that all the IMGs are getting very excited, getting all the CVs and the cover letters, the selection criteria all prepped with a lot of hope that you will get a position or an offer this year. So by now, 3 campaigns have already opened. So the Tasmania campaign and the Western Australia campaign opened just on the 25th of May, and the Queensland campaign opened on the 1st of June. So I work with Queensland Health, so I thought I should do a detailed video about the Queensland campaign because I'm very familiar with this. So this video is going to be all about the Queensland recruitment campaign, and I hope this would be very helpful for you all. And after this video, after watching this video, if you do have any questions, just feel free to put them in the comment section, and I will definitely get back to you whenever I could. And also, if you are new to my channel and if you have not subscribed, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel because I definitely bring informative videos just like this, which would help you guys in the future. So let's get started. So before we start talking all about the Queensland campaign, just for you all to be aware, the RMO and the Registrar campaign of Queensland is one of the largest centralized recruitment campaigns which happen across all of Australia. Because this is not just to recruit the overseas trained doctors, but this campaign is the campaign which happens just once a year. And this includes recruitment of everyone, like the basic physician trainees or the anesthetic trainees or the surgical trainees and the advanced trainees. So this is not just limited for the IMGs. So this is a recruitment campaign where everybody else who are even working in Australia have to apply through. So that's why I said it's one of the largest centralized recruitment campaigns which happen across all of Australia. Okay, so first of all, before we start talking about the documents and everything that you require to apply for the campaign, first I thought I should just give you like a good overview about the terms and the different names that we use here in Queensland. Because if you are a first time applicant and if you have never applied for the Queensland campaign before, it could be quite confusing if you are not familiar with the terms or if you're not familiar with the names that they use to call the certain positions, because if you're not aware of that, it can be quite confusing and you might be wondering, oh, can I apply for this position, can I apply for that position? So before we start anything else, let's just talk about the common terms that we use here for the positions in Queensland. All right, so something that the IMGs can really get confused is the term PGY, which stands for postgraduate year. Because the problem is, countries like where I come from, like Sri Lanka, India, we always say postgraduate to a doctor who is in like a specialist training pathway, which is different to here. Because here you say postgraduate year 1, 2, 3, or whatever from the year that you graduated out of med school. So in saying that, starting with the intern positions, you are a postgraduate year 1. They say PGY 1. So if you are referred to as a PGY 1, which that means you are an intern. And then come the residents. So the residents are PGY 2 onwards. So when you say residents, there are 2 types in Queensland. You have JHOs, which means junior house officer, and then you have the senior house officers. So a junior house officer is a postgraduate year 2, which means you're just 2 years after your med school. And then a senior house officer is a postgraduate year 3 and above. And then we have the registrars. So there are two categories of registrars here in Queensland. One type is the PHOs, which stands for Principal House Officer. And then you have the registrars who are with a specialist training college. So, a PHO or a Principal House Officer is also a type of registrar who is not in a specialist training pathway. And the other registrars are obviously someone who is registered with a college for training. So, usually the registrars have to be PGY3 and above. So, you have to be at least postgraduate year 3 if you want to apply for a registrar position. So, in saying that, so be mindful that when you are coming from overseas, you can only apply for the PHO positions. You cannot obviously apply for the other registrar positions with a training college. So, if you are PGY3 and above, you can definitely apply for the PHO positions. And also, you can definitely apply for the junior house officer and the senior house officer positions. So, why I'm giving you an overview about these positions is that sometimes, because if you're not familiar with this, you can just end up applying for the JHO and the SHO positions, which would not be a lot. So, if you are a PGY3 and above, make sure you also apply for the PHO positions, and that can definitely increase your chances, because then there will be more positions that you can apply for. So, now talking about the dates of the Queensland campaign. So, it started just on the 1st of June, and this is going to run until the 29th of June. So, you guys have at least 28 days to get all your documents sorted. So, please make sure you apply as early as possible, and you definitely cannot apply after the closing date, because the obviously the campaign just automatically gets closed and you are not able to access through the portal. Okay, so let me give a bit of an overview about the Queensland state and about all the hospital and the health services in Queensland. So, like I said, it's definitely it is one of the largest recruitment campaigns. So, Queensland state does definitely have a lot of hospital and health services, and lot of hospitals participate in this campaign. It's not just the hospitals which are under different HHSs, but also some other tertiary hospitals and some more regional hospitals and sometimes more private hospitals, and some metro hospitals. They also participate in this campaign, although even though if they don't fall under a specific hospital and health service. So, talking about the different HHSs, I'm just showing you a map which shows you the different hospital and health services. So there's lots. So there's like the Central Queensland, and then you get the Darling Downs Hospital and Health Service. You get the Gold Coast, then you get the Mackay, then there's Metro North, Metro South, and then Sunshine Coast. Then you get the Townsville, then you get White Bay. So all these HHSs have lots of hospitals under them, and that's why it actually can definitely increase the chances of you securing a job, because there's lots of hospitals participating in this campaign. And definitely the hospitals could have different eligibility requirements, but still, looking at the number of all these hospitals, there is a high chance that the IMGs can secure a position within these hospitals. So let's talk about the documents that you are expected to submit when you're applying for the Queensland campaign. So obviously your resume, which is the most important. So Queensland campaign does have a CV template that you could use. But it is not mandatory. You can definitely use your own format, but what is important is that you cover all the categories which are mentioned in the CV template. And also, they have mentioned that if you are not using the CV template, which is in the website, in their website, you have to kind of put a statement stating that all the information that you have put in your CV is correct. Then you have to definitely submit a copy of your medical degree certificate. So make sure you certify this document. So usually any external document that you are uploading in the portal, you have to get them certified by a justice of peace, or an equivalent. So they have specifically mentioned, if you go to the portal, you will be able to find out who else is qualified to certify these documents. So you have to upload a copy of your medical degree. And then there is proof of identity documents. There's a list of what kind of documents that you could use. And obviously, these have to be certified as well. And if any of your documents are not in English, you have to get them translated by a certified translator. And also make sure, if especially this apply to the female applicants, if you have changed your name after marriage, and if that's different to what the name that's in your medical degree, you have to definitely upload your marriage certificates, just proving that obviously that you're the same person. So make sure you only submit the identity documents that they have mentioned in their website, and just make sure that they are all certified by a relevant qualified person. Then with the Queensland campaign, there is something specific that they actually ask for, that is the evidence of vaccination. So usually you have to upload all your vaccination status. Um, I hope that you have at least started the process of getting yourself vaccinated with all these specific vaccines. So you need to either get it filled out by a GP in your home country, or you could just at the dates, there is a format like a table in the portal itself where you can just fill out and submit. And then there is this consent for criminal history check. So that is just to fill out your details. And here you have to get it signed by a witness. So whoever is more than 18 years could just sign as a witness here. And then for the IMGs, definitely you have to, if you have the AMC certificate, you have to submit the AMC certificate. And if you don't have part two, if you only have part one, you have to submit the AMC one results. And although they haven't specifically mentioned about the English exam, if you have already completed it, you can definitely submit this as well. You must be wondering why I didn't mention anything about a cover letter. Cover letter is like a very common document that usually most of the campaigns ask for. But interestingly, with the Queensland campaign, they have specifically mentioned that you're not required to submit a cover letter. But they have also said if you really want to submit a cover letter, you could upload that as a part of your CV. And also, what I actually wanted to say was, when you are asked to put the preferences with the Queensland campaign, you are supposed to uh, put five preferences. Um, so, in each preference, you are asked what the facility is, and you have to mention if you are applying for a full time or a part time position. But when it comes to IMGs, I'm definitely sure we are all looking for a full time position. And then you are asked to put which position, like with the specific hospital, which position you're applying for. So before you start putting these preferences, there is a table called the a position search tool where you can actually have a look through all the vacancies that are available. Like, let's say, if you are looking for a PHU position, you can find out what PHU positions are available in a specific hospital. So, this actually sorting out your preferences can be very challenging because you wouldn't know which hospital to put first. It can take some time to figure out what type of hospitals you have to put, especially if you're applying from overseas. So I will try and give as much as information I can to help you guys sort out what hospitals you can actually start preferring. So when starting to put your preferences from 1 to 5, few things that you have to consider, and I think might be mentioning this in most of my videos. Definitely, when you're coming from overseas, if you're a first time applicant and if you're only with AMC1, please forget about putting the metro hospitals as number one. So, what I mean by metro hospitals are the city hospitals, because these city hospitals usually give priority to the employees who are already working in Australia and for ones who have general registration, so and some Australian experience. So don't I wouldn't prioritize these metro hospitals in your first 5. So when you're coming from overseas, you definitely should have an open mind and be willing to go anywhere. And when I say anywhere, obviously you have to be willing to go regional. So for me, if I was coming from overseas, for me, the first 5 hospitals that I would choose would be more regional hospitals. And sometimes it can be challenging to find out which regional hospitals could be IMG friendly. But there are these few hospitals that you have heard that lot of IMGs work, and these hospitals most of the time give priority to the IMGs, and this is a list that I was able to find. So this could change. We can't be very sure that these hospitals definitely will recruit you, but these hospitals could have a high chance of recruiting IMGs, especially the ones with AMC1. So when you're preferring the hospitals from 1 to 5, my advice is think more about the regional hospitals. And also, I would probably um, try and choose the hospitals that have more vacancies. Let's say if you're applying for an SHO position, and if this specific hospital has only 2 SHO positions, I probably wouldn't put that on the top. I would most likely try and put a hospital which has more vacancies, which could actually increase your chances. And the next thing is, what I feel about IMGs is that sometimes you get more like very fixated on certain positions. Like, for an example, you don't want to do surgery, you just want to do medicine. You don't want to do ONG, just want to do medicine. So you're very, sometimes you guys can be very fixated on what positions. Like, I think it also depends on what past experience you have. But if you are someone who has some experience in surgery, ONG, peds, medicine, like from a lot of specialties, if you do have some experience in your home country, I'd say have an open mind and see if you could apply for all these positions, because that can definitely increase your chances, because most of the hospitals wouldn't have lots of vacancies for one specialty. So if you do have experience, just go for it. Don't think twice, because once you come here, you can, like, once you get to general registration, you can definitely work your way through and start working in the specialty that you want to work in. So have these advice in your mind when you're putting the preferences. Another thing that I thought that would be helpful for you when it comes to applying for the Queensland campaign, is the list of the hospitals that participate in the work based assessment program within Queensland. I would say it may not be like a lot of hospitals just like New South Wales, but I think it's a good thing to be aware of. So when you say work based assessment, I'm pretty sure most of you know what this is. Obviously, this is a pathway that you can bypass your AMC clinical, especially if you're applying only with AMC 1. So, this list of hospitals is available in the AMC website. So, these are the hospitals that are accredited within Queensland for work based assessment. So obviously there are a few metro hospitals like the Gold Coast and the Sunshine Coast as well in this list. But there are more regional hospitals that do provide the work-based assessment. So I would definitely encourage you to think and maybe prioritize them in your preferences as well. Because if a hospital has work-based assessment, that means they definitely recruit people only with AMC 1. So have a look at the list of these hospitals. And if these hospitals have vacancies that you would like to apply for, I would say just go for it. But don't rush to put the metro hospitals, even if they provide the work based assessment. Don't rush to put the metro hospitals in the first numbers. And also, when you're applying for these work based assessment accredited hospitals, what's important to keep in mind is that different hospitals have different wait lists for the work based assessment program. Some hospitals could have a wait list of 2 or 3 years. Some hospitals could have a wait list of 6 months to 1 year. So until you actually start working, you wouldn't know what the wait list is like. And it's like when you even if you start working there, sometimes obviously you will not be eligible to start the work based assessment right away. So few things to consider, but the good thing is to remember is that obviously if they have the WBA, that means you can definitely apply only with AMC 1. Let's talk about the references. So, for the Queensland campaign, you are expected to put two referees. So, one of them has to be your immediate supervisor. And I think even the next one, although they have not specifically mentioned, it's ideal to be somebody who you have worked with at least in the past 12 months. So, obviously if when choosing the referees, you have to definitely put your immediate supervisor. And let's say if you have few immediate supervisors or like few consultants that you work with, always be wise and select somebody or choose somebody who would be very willing to provide good feedback about you, someone who you have a good rapport and someone who you could reach out ASAP to complete the referee report. So when it comes to choosing referees, don't just choose anyone who is a consultant in a very fancy specialty, but be wise and choose somebody who is willing to say good stuff about you. Another important point to remember is that if you are someone who has already completed your internship in your home country, guys, don't apply for intern positions. The problem is Queensland has the campaign only once a year. They don't have twice a year like the New South Wales. So most of the states have only once a year. So even Queensland has only once a year. So if you have already completed your internship in your home country, and you can definitely get that approved, don't apply for intern positions, because sometimes getting intern positions can be very challenging because even the local graduates apply through this campaign. So if you are someone who has good postgraduate experience, go for PHO positions. And obviously, if you have completed your internship in your home country or wherever, please apply for the PGY2, PGY3 positions as long as you have that postgraduate experience. So the next important thing is, like I said, obviously consider the rural hospitals. Don't be fixated on the metro hospitals. And the next thing is apply as soon as possible. Don't wait too long to apply for the apply through the campaign. So guys, I hope this video was helpful. I did try to cover as much as I could and as much as I know, but if you guys do have any questions, please feel free to comment in the comment section below, and I'm very happy to answer your questions. And also, if you do have any suggestions for my future videos, please feel free to include them here as well. And I will try my best to do them as time permits. So I wish you all the very best. Please apply before the 29th June. Don't miss it. Get everything prepped as soon as possible and apply as early as possible. And I wish you guys all the very best. And I really do hope that many of you will become successful and be offered a position for the year 2027. So until I see you guys in my next video, take care.